So my name is Janet Lee, and I am the Executive Director of Kabuki Syndrome Foundation. I'm also the proud mother to Emily, who has Kabuki Syndrome. For 12 years, I played the role of being my daughter's fiercest advocate. You know, when you're a parent of a child with a rare disease, you quickly learn that advocacy is at the foundation of raising your child. Every aspect of parenting revolves around trying to get the best understanding of your child's complexities, which usually requires countless visits to specialists and therapists, and oftentimes you leave with questions unanswered. You find resources to manage the symptoms the best way you know how, but the quest for answers always remains. With Emily as my inspiration, I was drawn to playing a larger role in the rare disease community as an advocate to accelerate Kabuki syndrome research, to help answer some of those questions for Emily and others like her. Kabuki Syndrome Foundation is dedicated to advocating for the advancement of research. We aspire to build a collaborative research network to include patient families, researchers, biotech, and other companies operating in the rare disease space. With the patient being at the center of all of our efforts, we are investigating potential partnerships to address diagnostic barriers, enable research through machine learning, and investigate research-enabling tools that support cross-institutional collaboration. For any rare disease, the only way to make progress is to come together as a community and unite ourselves in the path to progress. At KSF, we want to establish partnerships with global patient advocacy groups so that we can share current research efforts and activate global community efforts to support these initiatives. For this, we rely on our relationships with patient advocacy leaders. In this next segment, you'll be introduced to global advocacy leaders who provide an invaluable service to this community. Patient advocacy groups are sources of clinical information. They spread awareness of Kabuki syndrome and provide an instant network of support for families. When Emily was diagnosed with Kabuki syndrome, I spent hours online and reached out to advocacy leaders and community members who instantly became friends. We would like to take this moment to recognize all of the hard work and dedication of these amazing patient advocacy leaders who devote countless hours to supporting the community. I'd like to now share an inspiring video from our friends at Kabuki UK, which highlights many of these important efforts.
When I first found out Tali had Kabuki syndrome, my husband and I felt very, very alone. We'd never heard of it. No medical professionals had ever heard of it. So it was a very lonely time.
In one way, because there've been all sorts of other debates, I could say it was a relief to get a name, but then quite scary to wonder what that actually meant for the future.
When I first heard the word Kabuki that I had it, I just felt fine because I'd had kind of like something wrong with me from day one, and then we finally found out that it was Kabuki. It is just weird.
Well, Natasha was 12 when she was diagnosed, and we'd never heard of the word Kabuki. We tried to look for information on the internet, and there was nothing.
The first year was hard for us. We had hardly any support. But we pulled through. It's been tough.
do sort of get a bit fed up explaining to people what it is.
Yeah.
You know,
At the end of the day, you've got to do what you can for them, and that's what we've done for Hannah.
For us, equipment for Kitty, as she's non-mobile, that has been a huge challenge because nothing is provided. So having to do fundraising to try and provide the equipment that she actually needs to give her independence has been quite a challenge.
I think that having the Kabuki family days are literally a lifesaver. It's a second family, so it's really, really important.
It's been a really good experience with the family day today because I've got to meet other children and try and help families and explain to them about what may lie in the future or what some things that may not happen to their child. And so yeah, I've really enjoyed it.
I've come here because I wanted to see how other parents dealt with the situation when they found out their child had Kabuki, and it's helped.
Like seeing the little ones looking like my sister's kind of comforting to feel that you're not alone and that you've got other people for support.
I didn't really see it as a disability to her, I just think it's like the same, but when you see her with all the other kids with Kabuki, sort of understand what it is and see there's other people out there with it.
Just had a lovely chat with a lovely little girl with Kabuki called Imi, and she's just filled me with such hope. Because she's just adorable. She's at college, she's really sociable, she knows exactly in her own mind what she wants, she's very confident, and she's just filled me with such hope for my 4.5-year-old little girl that actually she's going to be all right.
It feels like such a privilege and so special to be here and just see like how many kids are actually here with like Kabuki. It's just amazing.
Shake your dollar around. You do the hokey cokey and you turn around. That's what it's all about.
If I could speak to a parent of a Kabuki child that had just been diagnosed, I would say it's going to get a lot better. It's very hard in the first few years, but you know it will get better.
At the end of the day, it's like all about happiness, and I'm always a happy and positive person.
They will progress and they will get to where you don't ever think that they will get to, but they will. Eventually, they will get there.
Yes, the child has Kabuki, but let that child do whatever they want to do and don't let Kabuki rule that child's life. It may be a long road ahead of you and it may be some bumps along the way, but there's always somewhere to reach and a goal that you should always aim for, and your child will always achieve whatever you want them to achieve.
Just live life, just enjoy your babies, just enjoy your children, and just take one operation as it comes and then just enjoy the rest of the time. Just enjoy it.
What I'd say to a couple who have a little baby who might have Kabuki is it's not the end of the world. She can still live a normal life, but she's only got Kabuki inside her. But nothing's going to change anything in the future for her. Anything.
If I suspect that most of the audience member has a giant lump in their throat right now, because I do as well, and I'm having a hard time containing myself. It's such a brilliantly made video and really does capture the spirit of what these advocacy groups provide to the community. With that being said, I would like to introduce 6 amazing advocacy leaders. I'll give it a moment for them to get on the screen. We're joined today with Sally Trewartha from the UK, Alexandra Kenter from the Netherlands, Pilar Lucero from Spain, and our US counterparts. We've got Rene King, Amanda Gamboa, and Emily Benton from the US. Each one of these amazing leaders will talk about their extraordinary efforts that they are doing for the community. We will start with Sally.
Thank you so much, Janet, and hi everybody. I know I still can't watch that film without getting a lump in my throat. Thank you so much for having me here today. It's wonderful to be amongst such esteemed company and to tell you a little bit about Kabuki UK. I'm honoured to say that I'm the chairperson of Kabuki UK. We're the only charity which supports families affected by Kabuki syndrome in Great Britain. My personal family's journey with Kabuki syndrome is one that will be very familiar to most of you. Our Harry is our 13-year-old. He's our first child. We have another son called Toby, who's 3 years younger. When I was pregnant with Harry, we were told at the 20-week scan that there were heart problems. And from that day, we found ourselves in the medical whirlwind of the cardiac diagnosis. Coactation, ASD, VSD, hypoplastic left heart, open heart surgery, and a lot of time at Great Ormond Street. Thankfully, he came through those first few months and we got on with our lives. Around the time that we found out about Harry's heart, we also found out that his cousin had a hole in the heart. We were told that this was a coincidence, but it led to us seeing a geneticist when Harry was about 18 months. We'd be told again that it was just a coincidence and that Harry's developmental delay were because he was a heart baby and that he would catch up. I mean, he'd been through a lot. We were told that the two heart conditions were unconnected, but to our surprise, the geneticist told us that he had a unifying diagnosis for Harry. My husband and I didn't even know what a unifying diagnosis was, let alone know that we were looking for one. You'll all know the feeling of hearing Kabuki syndrome for the first time. I felt like we'd been robbed of Harry's future and of our future as a family as we thought it was going to be. We were told things that terrified us, like that people who have Kabuki syndrome rarely go on to live an independent life. I remember hearing that. I felt his whole life flash before my eyes. You know, will he go to school? Will he speak? Will he ever find someone to love him? My heart shattered into 1,000 pieces on that day. And I think the last 10 years of building Kabuki UK have been an attempt to put my heart back together. At Kabuki UK, we've got a team of 5 trustees: Lisa, Beth, Rory, Kate, and me. We're all parents of kids who have Kabuki syndrome. Some of us have been with Kabuki since the beginning, and some are newer recruits. The film that we've just seen was shot at one of our family days, which is evident in the film. We're so proud of these events, and I think the film gives a really good taste of the atmosphere and the fun that we have at the family days. The one that we held in September, just gone, was actually our 10th birthday. As well as the family days, we provide grants for specialised equipment, transport and communication aids. We run smaller local get-togethers when we can, and we're working with Dr. Banker and his team in Manchester to work on the clinical guidelines project. As for Harry, he's great. He's a typical 13-year-old. He's into horse riding, Tottenham Hotspur and the PlayStation. I can actually hear him laughing up there. He has his challenges with learning, but on the whole, he's brilliant. He's happy, he's funny, he's resilient, and he's definitely the most determined person that I know. My hope is that newly diagnosed families now have a very different experience to those of us who went through diagnosis 10, 15, 20 years ago. I hope that with Kabuki UK, we've been able to create a real community and that our members and our member families know that we're in it together. I take most pride in seeing our members growing older and advocating for themselves and for each other. We'll be hearing from 2 of our young adults, Jenny and Aaron, during the conference. I know they're on the chat, and I hope that over the next few years, we'll be seeing our young adults flourish and be true role models for our little ones. our young adults who have Kabuki syndrome are our greatest asset. We need to really listen to what they have to say and take on the language that they want us to use. Kabuki syndrome belongs to the people that have it, and that should always be the heart of what we do. And it's really nice that I'm hearing that coming through really strongly from the research professionals in the presentations today. I think this conference shows us that the world is a very different place to what it was 10 years ago when we set up Kabuki. And definitely since the clinical diagnosis that we had for Harry before the gene was identified. I know I'm a different person to the frightened new mum with a poorly little baby that I was all that time ago. I think going forward, our remit with Kabuki UK really needs to grow to work more closely with other patient advocacy groups so that we can be that bridge between our members and the medical community. And I think we have a huge role to play in spreading the word about all of the developments that we've seen and we've been hearing about today. I'm really looking forward to hearing what other patient advocacy groups do and working with you guys really closely going forward. So if I can, am I handing back to Janet or am I handing straight to Alexandra?
Alexandra.
There we go. I'll turn off.
Great, thank you. Alexandra, if you'd like to speak about your efforts.
Yes. Hello, everyone. Very nice to meet you like this. I have a note beside me for the English translation. It's nice to see you all because, in Holland we have about 100 Kabuki children, and I don't know them all. But it's nice to meet other people who have the same experience like me and you, and in the way you started in that with a little baby, and now we're all grown, very fierce Kabuki moms, I think. Our daughter Isabel is 12. She got the diagnosis when she was 2, and I recognize so much of what Janet and Sally said just right now, that what do you do, what you're looking for, you want your child to be happy, you don't know a lot, and how do you go with the doctors and everything. And well, it's nice to know that you have a parent beside you that can help you, who is there for your questions, who understands what you're going through. And that's what we also do in the Netherlands. But I think we're not even as close as you are with the organizations, because we have started a foundation about 6 months ago. And we're taking the first baby steps to build a new website for the parents, to organize more events, to create awareness for Kabuki in the Netherlands, especially with doctors, because I have rarely meet a doctor who said, "Oh, Kabuki, I know what it is." So I always have to explain to the doctor what is that. And it's nice. I think it's good for in the Netherlands that to create awareness with hospitals and child pediatricians, everything, to create awareness. What is Kabuki? What does it mean? When I go to sometimes I go to the first aid help in a hospital, and I tell, yeah, Isabel has Kabuki. They always say, "Oh, what's that? I don't know that. How do you spell that?" It's like we're all our own doctors of our children. So I think we have a lot to do, and I'm very impressed, Sally, by your movie, and Janet, what you told and what you organized today. It's so, I think we can learn so much of that in the Netherlands. And I really like to have, maybe we can hold contact on this way, like a meeting once a month or once in the 6 weeks, to connect with each other, where we can help and where we can learn from each other. Because if I see what you already have done, then I'm a little baby starting in this project. And it would be very nice to meet regularly if it's possible, if you like that also. So.
Absolutely. I think that's, this is a launching pad for, again, establishing a much broader network, which would require, communication with all of you. So we very much look forward to that.
Yeah, me too.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing, Alexandra. And now we will move on to our patient advocate leader from Spain, Pilar Lucero.
Hello everybody. Thank you very much, Janet, for this big opportunity for us. I saw the video from the UK and it's exactly the same that us. Well, we are very few in Spain, but we are starting to work the way, no? So we are almost in the same way than Alexandra, starting with the associations. I have prepared, if I can say my screen, some slides. Can I, Janet? Yes?
Yes, please, go ahead.
Okay, thank you.
Of course.
Hi. Well, this is our first meeting. This is the Spanish Kabuki Associations. We have our topic that we always say we are different, we are the same. No, Kabuki people is different from the other ones, but we want to be the same. They want to be the same. They want to be happy, to have friends, to be integrated in the life. And I will tell you a little bit about our Spanish associations. It was founded in 1970 by 11 families. We have a meeting, these families from different parts of Spain. No once, we didn't know each other, but after to have 2 hours together, we think we know it from all the life. We feel the same, we are exactly the same. And none of them had prior experience working with non-governmental organizations, but we started to have the feeling that we need starting an association in Spain. So we decided to do it with the objective to disseminate, inform, and provide mutual support between families. And from that, in these 4 years, the association has provided to the community, to the Spanish community mainly, an information and orientation service, which includes a web page. This web page is in Spanish, and this is relevant because there are a lot of people from South America that are Spanish speakers, and a lot of them doesn't speak English. And we receive a lot of emails from them looking for information and asking for information about treatment and doctors. And because of this, and also because we in Spain have exactly the same feeling that Alexandra in the Netherlands, doctors didn't know anything about the Kabuki, neither the name, absolutely nothing. So we prepare a brochure with information for parents. Is prepared with doctors specialized in Kabuki Syndrome and with the collaboration of the association. And this information is very sample, is for parents, and is served as a guide for the care management. To have an idea that what can I wait for the future, or what should I do with my baby. And we offer also group therapies for people with Kabuki syndrome and also for the parents. And of course, we prepare annual meetings that are very fantastic because we all are always enjoying and also supporting each other. We also put families in contact with specialized doctors and facilitate also the contact between doctors from different institutions with the main objective to exchange the information and collaboration between them. And we had resources and also provide a safe space for parents to share information and also to ask questions that sometimes are really sensible questions. About the money, well, we had no business activity. We had very very low money. We almost don't have money. Funds are received from the association member fees and private donations, and we look for grants and funding opportunities with the object to support the medical costs to the families. And we are very committed to contribute to increase the knowledge about the Kabuki syndrome. So we organize annual seminars on a specific clinical manifestation with specialized doctors. We have collaborated with a hospital in Madrid to be recognized as a unit of reference for primary immunodeficiency that, as you know, is one of the complications of our child, the Kabuki syndrome. And we also perform visibility and awareness activities. And related to research, we have collaborated in a project to collect data on natural history with focus in immunological defects and treatments. We are also involved in developing a Kabuki syndrome Spanish registry, and recently the University of Manchester has engaged us to join a working group to prepare an evidence-based consensus document for the Kabuki syndrome. And well, related to the question that Janet suggests, that why is patient participation in research important? All our membership thinks that the patient is the person who best knows their needs. They could give a real overview of the impact of the different pathologies in daily life and share her experience. And also the patient can suggest which aspect of her life will change as a priority, and that can help focus research on prioritizing what is the most relevant. And then the last, but not the least, I think it's very important that the patient must feel the part of the investigation and not the object of the investigation. So maybe I didn't prepare this meeting, this round table, because I thought it was different, but I don't want to spend more time because it's only 5 minutes. So next time I will tell you our personal experience, but now I prepared it and I wanted to show you.
It's perfect. Your
Okay.
presentation, Pilar, was very empowering, and we really do appreciate you sharing your efforts with the group. It's really just phenomenal seeing all of you together in this forum and really recognizing the potential that we really could have as a global and with a global effort. I will ask Pilar if you wouldn't mind to stop sharing your screen, and then we will.
Yes, I know. Juan, ¿cómo la quito? Dejar, ya está.
Thank you.
Okay.
Wonderful. And now we will move on to our US-based organizations. I'd like to introduce Rene King.
Good morning or afternoon. Thank you for this opportunity. I think it's really great that you've provided this platform for us all to come together. I don't have an amazing slideshow or video to leave a lump in everyone's throat. So I'm just going to briefly share a little bit about all things Kabuki, what we're doing, what kind of programs we have in place, and you can always get more information on our website or by email. So we are a US nonprofit, and we are volunteer run based out of Wasilla, Alaska. My daughter, Ricky, I think most people, at least in the US, know is 20 years old. Ricky was born here in Alaska, and she was clinically diagnosed when she was just 3 months old by a doctor from Seattle Children's. And because of research efforts that were taking place in 2003, we were able to get a genetic confirmation of Ricky's Kabuki syndrome in 2011. So a little bit about ATK. I wish I could say that we started the organization because I'm a mom to a child affected by Kabuki syndrome, but that's not the case here. At first, we have about just over 24 volunteers that work tirelessly to help us with all of the programs that we run. Some are very simple virtual groups or programs, and others are hands-on. And so we wouldn't be able to do everything we do without the mostly parent volunteers that kind of keep everything going behind the scenes. So a big shout out to all of them, and there's a list of them on our website. ATK started in 2013, somewhat inadvertently, but as of right now, we have approximately 800 families enrolled in at least one program that we provide. I think it's really important to share how our organization started, because that is what keeps on those hard days of volunteering or caring for your child. That's kind of what keeps us going. So our first program started in 2013 because of a young lady named Elizabeth. She had a Christmas wish, and in a Facebook post was done by her mom. That encounter is ultimately what launched our program, Operation Kabuki Christmas. Since that program started, our generous donors have helped us provide Christmas gifts to 247 children in 91 Kabuki syndrome families. So mostly in the US, but on a few occasions, we've been able to support families at Christmas internationally. So I know there's a lot of questions that have come in about 2021. We're working on the application. We're kind of changing the way the program runs. And so it'll be live on our website on November 1st. And that program's open to Kabuki syndrome families experiencing financial hardships during the holidays. Most people are aware Elizabeth passed away in 2015. She was 16 years old, just getting ready to turn 17. That same year, her mom had sent me a message and asked us not to forget her daughter. And so that is part of the reason that we try so hard just to provide as much support and keep going. That year, with the support of Elizabeth's parents, so we started the Elizabeth Go Lab Memorial Award. And every year we present that award to an individual that has made a significant impact on the Kabuki syndrome community. Some of the speakers today have been recipients, and we're just really honored to be able to honor Elizabeth's legacy through our organization and that program. So we don't charge families any fees for any of our programs. We host an annual Kabuki syndrome awareness campaign and rare disease campaign every October and February. And with the community partnering with us to promote these posters that we share online, it's helped us significantly expand our efforts to reach and promote awareness of Kabuki syndrome across the globe. So we're really grateful for everybody's support in sharing these campaigns. A couple of the programs that we offer. Another one inspired by a child that had Kabuki syndrome is our birthday club, and that actually started before we obtained our 501c3. But a little girl wanted to start this club and send cards to people, and we started it. And today we have just over 600 individuals with Kabuki syndrome enrolled in the program all across the world. So it's probably one of my favorite programs just because it's so personal to us and to the families. And so there's other simple programs, we have a pen pal club for individuals with Kabuki. By popular demand, we brought the sibling pen pal club back so that siblings can engage with others, and it's all done through snail mail, so there's no age limit, and we see people internationally and in the US participating in those. We have a book club, a virtual book club. I don't run it, one of my great people do, but a self-care group. So there's different things as we identify needs in the community, or a parent says, I think you really need this, like a parent mentor program. We say, okay, well, what tools do you need to run this? And here, go with it. So those are, there's information about all of this stuff on our website. One thing we're still working on is the sibling group. It's we have a junior volunteer that is trying to head that, but with school and COVID, things have been a little bit delayed, but we're really trying to get that program in place for siblings so they have a place within our community too. And then the other thing that we're working hard to launch is our Green Star program, which is will ideally be in place to support the families who have lost their little one. So more on our programs online. We have advocacy resources. We don't charge. We'll ship them all over the U.S. I think Janet had asked to share a little bit about how donations are used. Like I said, we're volunteer run, so we try to put every dollar back into the community in one way or another, whether it's a website or printing these resources, the cards with the kids' photos on them. We've helped other groups in raising money to fund their conferences or their gatherings. Financial hardships, we do our best to support families that maybe can't pay their rent this month or don't have money for food. We've helped with a lot of funeral fundraisers and stuff like that. So we have not had a conference in the last 2 years. We hope to someday in the future. Our last one was really great, and it was so wonderful to bring families together and just have that time to fellowship. So we're just kind of watching the lower 48 and how things play out down there before we make any more plans. I think the last thing I'd like to share is our biggest effort, probably since the beginning, has been this patient registry that we're working on. We did some fundraising. The community helped us raise the money we needed to actually house this registry on NORD's I Am Rare platform, which is going to be really wonderful. We are in the last step, so we will be putting a tester out and asking the community to participate. It'll be families, it'll be professionals, it can be friends. Once we identify any tweaks or language that maybe needs to be changed, it heads back to NORD and then goes to IRB for approval. So it's been a year. We're really anxious to get it alive, and we're hoping for a January 2022 launch date. So as a parent, not specifically an advocate for the community, but as a parent, I encourage families to participate in it. It's similar to our original questionnaire we housed on Sanford, but it's a much larger scale. And then I think I speak on behalf of our medical advisors and the medical registry committee in saying that this is going to be a wonderful tool for our researchers to utilize, to drive research, to drive future clinical trials. So it'll be very helpful, and it is open to the global Kabuki syndrome community. At this time, it will only be available in English because that's the only platform that NORD has available. So other than that, again, Janet and KSF, thank you for giving us this platform to come together to share our efforts on what we're doing. And, I have to thank my husband and my daughter for embracing all the chaos that comes with patient advocacy. I think all of you know and understand, and we're really happy to be here to serve this community. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Rene. And now I'd like to introduce Amanda Gamboa.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for everybody for chatting with me in the chat today as well. I represent one of those smaller organizations that Rene mentioned she partners with. So in 2018, in the Pacific Northwest of the United States, so think like Washington, Oregon, Northern California, and beyond. But there used to be a picnic in this area for families. And in 2018, we kind of made the jump to more of a conference type of event. And thanks to our partnership with All Things Kabuki, we were able to get the word out. We had another conference in 2019, and we've got about 30 families that attend, give or take, on the year. And so our attendance is about like 75 people per conference. We're really lucky to be able to connect with that many families. Stacy Bigby, also, I just want to shout out to her. I don't know if she's here today, but I kind of inherited this from her and also from Jessica Weatherstone. So today I co-host it with Jessica. We're really looking forward to 2022. It's been a couple years. So as I said, our gatherings are kind of a more conference platform now. We have 3 primary goals when we get our families together. Number 1 is that we want to build community. We want to share resources. And then our final goal is that we do want to provide a research update. I'm going to talk about each of those 3 goals just a little bit. I think one of our most successful ideas to date has been having kind of a nights out for parents and caregivers. So our conference event is kind of spread over a weekend. Friday night, we meet at a playground. It's casual. Everybody enjoys their time. And then after that, the first night, all the guys go out, all the male caregivers, fathers, brothers, anybody who identifies most with that crowd, they kind of all headed out and they went to dinner and an arcade. And it was great. Sometimes, you know, kids, if you're here, and young adults, we love you, but sometimes parents want to connect one-on-one with parents. So that was Friday night. And then Saturday night, we kind of gave the same opportunity. It ended up being all moms. So it was a mom's night out. It was really special and a great way to build community. The other big goal that we have is sharing resources. We like to share things that are, of course, appropriate for our region or location, and then also something that families can use immediately, like that day, and then other resources that are more for forward thinking and future planning. So our Right Now resource in 2019 was called Brain Dance, like literally brain and then dance. You can look it up. It might be something good to kind of stretch your muscles after sitting on Zoom all day. But we had a dance instructor come in. It's really easy, but she brought everybody up to the front, not just the kids. A lot of adults participated too. And this brain dance is kind of just a way to regulate. There's some studies that say that it helps with emotional and like social, not anxiety, like regulation, like social emotional regulation. Again, it's brain dance if you want to look it up on YouTube. And then one of our forward planning presentations last year was from Washington ABLE. It's ABLE. It is only in the United States. And I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. But what ABLE is it's a special bank account that can be used to pay for disability expenses, which has a really broad definition and without being taxed on the earnings. Again, I'm not here to give financial advice, but it's a cool opportunity. The folks at ABLE have a lot of information, and you can check out the ABLE National Resource Center website. And I can drop that in the comments in the chat as well. Our final goal is that we want to keep our little community involved in the global research community. So in the past, we've had Dr. Angie Serrano, who was here today, also Dr. Margaret Adam present for us. And then I don't want to say make them, but I kind of make them sit through a short slideshow that I prepare. That's like, this is what's going on in our bigger community. And it just kind of amplifies that community experience that you're not alone. There are all these highly intelligent researchers, all these super committed families donating their time and money. So it just adds perspective. And of course, if that can generate some more research participation, I think that's great as well. So those are kind of like our 3 big things when we do have our conference 2022. So thank you guys for letting me share about this. If you are interested in anything I said or want to know more, you can email me or chat me on here. I'm happy to share it. And I know there's a few people from Oregon that I haven't met yet, so make sure we get in touch today. And then I'm going to hand it over to Emily, who is in Texas, also in the US. Thank you.
Hey everyone, my name is Emily Benton. I do the Texas Kabuki Gathering. This is my daughter Jolie. You're gonna say hi? Thinking about it. We have a video to share with you guys, so hopefully the audio works. Let's see.
Hey there, my name is Emily Benton and this is my husband Rene Benton. We started the Kabuki Gathering in 2013 when our daughter Jolie was diagnosed with Kabuki Syndrome.
In 2013, at our first gathering that was held in Temple, Texas, we started with 10 families. Over the past 8 years, we've grown to over 30 families that we had at our last gathering in San Antonio, Texas.
And at the time in 2013, we learned about several other gatherings around the United States, but we really knew in our hearts that we wanted to have a gathering here in Texas. In that first moment when we walked in the room with other Kabuki warriors and their families was truly a moment where up until that point we had felt alone in our diagnosis. But seeing other Kabuki warriors, especially those that were older than our daughter, we really got a sense of what life might be like for us. And that was something that we wanted to share with other families.
Although we're a 501c3 nonprofit, we depend on donations and fundraising for our money to be able to send Kabuki warriors to camp along with their families and friends.
And this weekend, not only are the activities, lodging, and food free of charge for those who attend, it's an opportunity for Kabuki warriors to experience activities they've never done before. Horseback riding, zip lining, swimming, with staff that are trained to work with those individuals with disabilities. During this weekend too, it gives an opportunity for their siblings to form bonds and connections that are hopefully lifelong, as well as give parents and grandparents opportunity to meet other individuals with Kabuki syndrome and learn about therapies or treatment options that other families have maybe engaged in over the years.
Although we have our returning families every year, we love our returning families, but what we really thrive on is the families that are new, the new faces every year. We really try to reach out to them especially and establish those connections, those lifelong connections that we'll make memories with them and they'll learn from us and we'll learn from them.
And also it gives an opportunity during our gatherings. We always incorporate research opportunities. We have researchers come in and do presentations about stuff that they've learned during the past year or several years that they would like to share with us. We're learning about different treatment options that are available as our Kabuki warriors get a little bit older. And then we're also learning about different research opportunities that our new families can participate in. Most of our gathering information goes out through social media, through our Facebook. If you find us, look for the Kabuki Gathering on Facebook. This is where we share information about upcoming gatherings as well as share memories and photos from past gatherings. This is also where our families find each other once they've met each other at camp and they want to connect that way as well. You're more than welcome to email us at emily@thekabukigathering.org, or you can email Missy Smedley at missy@thekabukigathering.org, or our other board member, Chris Lang, and his email is chris@thekabukigathering.org. We hope to connect with you before next October, but if not, we hope to see you guys at camp. Thank you.
We're here to answer questions as well about the gathering if you guys have any questions.
Great, thank you so much, Emily. And on that note, we're running a little bit behind schedule, but it's really difficult to kind of stay on track because listening to all of these amazing efforts globally is truly inspiring. So Because of time, though, I will open this up for 1 or 2 questions. And if we could have maybe just 1 or 2 patient advocate leaders respond, that would be great. The first question is, thank you all. What is the most challenging aspect of organizing events?
Can I answer that?
Wonderful.
Yeah, I think in our experience, the most challenging part of organising our family days is remembering that everybody's in a different place on their journey with Kabuki syndrome. So we have families that come back every year, that it's, you know, it's really important in their calendar. And then we've had people that have come along, enjoyed it, and not come back again. And that's fine. You know, we're there for people that want to come once, we're there for people that want to be at everything. And I think it's important to remember never to judge where somebody is on their journey, because it changes day to day and I don't know. And I would never say, oh, where's that person? You know, so you have to remain quite open to where people are, and allow people to come and go with the organisation as they wish. So in terms of the events, you just kind of put the form out there and cross your fingers that you don't get too many people. That would be my biggest challenge.
Thank you so much for sharing. There's another question here, and it says, what are the most successful fundraising events or efforts that you found?
Well, I think that any successful fundraising is great, and when you're in the rare disease space, you know that every dollar counts. In our experience, though, I think some of the biggest efforts were some research. So I can sympathize with your efforts to raise money at KSF, but we raised $30,000 for Florida research, and then our patient registry was an astronomical amount as well. So I think that I think I could probably speak for everybody. We're so grateful for every dollar that anybody donates, especially when it comes from the families. But raising money in the rare disease space is certainly difficult.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to kind of echo Renee's sentiment, you know, every dollar really does count. And we're so grateful to all of the donors that have contributed to patient advocacy groups, and also especially here today. You know, it's really inspiring to see you know, how much support we can galvanize from the community. You know, I just wanted to take the time to say thank you. I also wanted to point out that there inside of the, if you go to the event platform under speakers, you can find more information about each of these lovely ladies and the efforts that they're doing. If you would like to reach out to them, you can actually do so internally in the event platform, but they also have their websites and their email addresses there as well. I just, you know, thank you so much for taking the time. Before we move on to the next segment, I did want to, and I think the patient advocate leaders on this panel would appreciate this. We just wanted to take a very quick moment to pay tribute to Margot Schmid. And give me 1 second while I share my screen here. You know, Margot was the founder of Kabuki Syndrome Network and a pioneer of Kabuki Syndrome Advocacy. She really did make it her life's mission to bring Kabuki Syndrome awareness to patient and scientific communities, and in the process, introduced many of us to a network of support when we needed it the most. Her dedication to Kabuki Syndrome awareness was truly inspiring and offered so many newly diagnosed families access to an instant community of support when we needed it most. KSN was the first and only resource available when my daughter was diagnosed, and I will be forever grateful for being welcomed into Margot's Yahoo family during a time I felt immense isolation. I was incredibly honored and humbled to have had the opportunity to meet Margot virtually this year before she passed. Her legacy will live on in the Kabuki syndrome community and in families like mine who were positively impacted by her advocacy. So we just wanted to recognize all of her efforts. Thank you so much to all of our patient advocate leaders. We truly appreciate all of your hard work and efforts, and we understand that dedication takes time and effort, and so we appreciate you and we celebrate you. Thank you so much.